Hello, my dear student. I am Mrs. Vandana Patil, the director of a Krishna coaching classes, and my subject is mathematics. I am going to teach you the mathematics of the 12th standard, also 11th standard. I am going to teach also the CET board and all the IIT, JEE also. Now this is my second video, but before that I want to tell you something. Whenever you study the JEE and CET, that is the byproduct of the theory. First you have to study the theory in detail, because the subject knowledge, it is very important. Unless and until you don't know the subject knowledge and you don't know deeply study the subject or subject knowledge, you can't proceed for the CET or JEE. Therefore, once you know the deep knowledge, once you know the detailed concept about the chapter, then and only then you can give the answer of the every small questions, that is the MCQs. तर मुलांना मला एवढंच सांगायचं आहे की जे काय आज चाललेलं आहे, सगळे MCQs, JEE करायचे आहे, CET करायचे आहे, तर त्यापेक्षा पहिल्यांदा तुम्ही जे आपलं बोर्ड आहे, स्टेट बोर्ड आहे, CBSE बोर्ड आहे, पहिल्यांदा बोर्डचं नॉलेज पहिल्यांदा कंपल्सरी घ्यायचं आहे. बिकॉज जेव्हा तुम्ही JEE किंवा CETचे क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करता, JEEचे क्वेश्चन प्रिफर जेव्हा करता, तेव्हा त्यात अनेक कन्सेप्ट येतात, अनेक चॅप्टरचे कन्सेप्ट येतात, एका प्रॉब्लेममध्ये बरेचसे कन्सेप्ट येतात. त्याच्यामुळे पहिल्यांदा आपल्याला सगळं डिटेल चॅप्टर शिकावं लागेल. जर तुम्ही डिटेल चॅप्टर शिकला तर तुम्हाला एक तर बोर्डचा पण फायदा होतो, एक तर JEEचे पण क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करता येतात आणि CETचे पण क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करता येतात. So I am going to start a differentiation, and this is my second video. In the first video we have studied about the definition of a derivative. Nobody says, nobody tell you the definition of a derivative, isn't it? But in the first video I have explained the definition of the derivative, and there we have studied the first principle of a derivative. Now with the help of a first principle we can derive the formulas of the derivative, isn't it? So for the formulas of the derivative, again we should know the formulas of the limit, isn't it? So in small way I am going to tell you the formulas of the limit, isn't it? Now see here, the first formula, that is the formulas of a limit, formulas of limit. Now do you know limit? What do you mean by the limit? The limit, it is nothing but the approximate value of a function. This also nobody says, that is the limit, it is nothing but the approximate value of a function. Whenever you find the limit, that means you are finding the approximate value of a function. See, suppose I take the function f of x is equal to x square plus x plus 1, isn't it? And whenever we have to find out the value of a function for x is equal to 1, then how will you find out this? F of 1 is equal to 1 square plus 1 plus 1. 1 square means 1, 1 plus 1 plus 1, this is 3. This is the value of a function, because you know the x exactly. Whenever the x exactly equal to 1, you can find out the value of a function, and that is f of 1 is equal to 3. But if you don't know the x exactly, x it is approximately equal to 1, x it is approaches towards 1, this is called as a tends to. X tends to 1 means what here? X it is approximately equal to 1, x it is nearer to 1, x it is approaches towards 1, but x it is not exactly equal to 1. X can be little bit greater than 1, or it is little bit less than 1. X can be, you can say 1.01 also, or x can be, you can say 0.99 also, isn't it? Therefore here you don't know x exactly, x it is approximately equal to 1, and by this value, that is x, when x it is approximately equal to 1, then x square plus x plus 1, it is approximately equal to 3. because x it is approximately equal to 1, therefore the value of this function that is approximately equal to 3, and that approximation you have to denote it by what here, limit, and limit this approximation also you have to denote it by x tends to 1, therefore limit x tends to 1, x square plus x plus 1 it is equal to 3, right. Here you have find it the exact value of a function, but here you have find it the limit means the approximate value of a function. So this is about the limit. You should know for the differentiation you should know the limit also, because the formulas of the derivative it is all depend upon the first principle of a derivative. If you know the first principle of a derivative, then you can derive all the formulas of a derivative, isn't it? And again for the first principle you should know the formulas of the limit, isn't it? So, and before that what do you mean by the limit? The limit it is nothing but the approximate value of a function, isn't it? Because if x is equal to 1, then the exact value of a function that is f of 1 it is equal to 3, isn't it? But if you don't know x exactly, x it is approximately equal to 1 means it is little bit greater than 1 or it is little bit less than 1, isn't it? So x can be 1.01 also, x can be 0.99 also, right. When x it is approximately tends to 1 means x it is approximately equal to 1, x it is nearer to 1, x it is approaches towards 1, then x square plus x plus 1 it is approaches towards 3, and that approach, that approximation you have to denote it by what here, limit. So this is about the definition of a limit, isn't it? Now I am going to tell the formulas. Here there is one formula, see, the formula, that is limit x tends to a, x to the power n minus a to the power n divided by x minus a. It is equal to n into a to the power n minus 1. This is the algebraic formula. If x tends to a, x to the power n, a to the power n, if you observe this, the power of both the function, this is x is the function, a is the constant. It is always greater than 0, isn't it? This base it is always greater than 0. If you observe this, the power of both the terms, that is x and a, this is same, and in the denominator there is a subtraction of a basis, isn't it? There is a subtraction of a basis, that is base is x and base is a, and there is a x minus a means the subtraction of a basis, right. Now here if your problem it is in this form, then the direct result is n into a to the power n minus 1, means what they have done here, the power of a it is multiplied and they have subtract the 1 from the power of a. One simple example we will take, suppose x tends to 3 and x to the power 5 minus a to the power 5 divided by x minus a. You can construct the problem yourself also. तुम्ही स्वतः सुद्धा प्रॉब्लेम कन्स्ट्रक्ट करू शकता. नो सी the power of both the function is same. There is a subtraction of a basis, isn't it? This is 5 to the power 5 and again x minus 5. X to the power 5 minus, here limit. Suppose I take x to the x tends to 3, then x to the power 5. Now x tends to a, here x tends to 3, here you can write 3 to the power 5 and divided by subtraction of a basis means x minus 3. Suppose your problem it is in this form, then what is the result here? N into a to the power n minus 1. Here what is n? 5. And what is a? 3. Therefore you can write 5 into 3 to the power 4, isn't it? And here again 5. 3 to the power 4 means what here? 3 3s are 9, 9 3s are 27 and 27 3s are 81, means here you have got the 81, 5 1s are 5 and 5 into 8 40. This is the result, right? By this formula, that is, this is the algebraic formula of the limit, and with the help of this formula you can find out the limit of such a function, and this is useful in the first principle of a derivative, because with the first principle of a derivative we have to derive the formula of the derivative, isn't it? Now the second formula, see here, that is the trigonometric, that is limit theta tends to 0, sin theta divided by theta, it is equal to 1. Here see the speciality of this formula. Whatever the angle theta, that should be repeated in the denominator. If theta is there, then the theta should be repeated in the denominator. If the angle is 2x, then in the denominator there should be 2x. If the angle is x square, then denominator the angle should be x square. If the angle is x minus 1, then this is also the x minus 1. If the angle is cos x, then the angle that is cos x should be in the denominator, but that angle must approaches towards 0, isn't it? One simple example I will take. Suppose x tends to 0, isn't it? Sine of 5x divided by x. How will you do this? Angle should be repeated in the denominator, right? Now here angle should be repeated in the denominator. That angle must approaches towards 0 and the angle must be measured in radian, not in degree, isn't it? This angle should be always measured in radian, not in degree. Then and only then the limit of this function, it is equal to 1. Now see what is the problem. Limit x tends to 0, sin 5x divided by x. Now here what do you want? To get the limit 1, what do you want here? That is, angle should be repeated in the denominator. What is the angle? 5x. Therefore 5x should be in the denominator. Now this term x, it is already there. You have divided with the extra term 5. Therefore multiply with 5 also. Again 5x, here also 5x. Angle, it is repeated in the denominator. Now as x tends to 0, this 5x also approaches towards 0. Now this function satisfies all the condition of this formula. Angle, it is repeated in the denominator. This angle, it is approaches towards 0, and this angle, it is not measured in degree. This is called as a degree, but this angle, it is measured in radian. Therefore the limit of this function, that is equal to 1, and the limit of the constant function, it is always constant. Therefore 1 into 5, it is always equal to 5. So this is about this formula. Suppose I consider another example. Suppose x tends to 1, sine of x plus 1 divided by x plus 1. Now tell me what is the limit of this function. You at once says that the limit, it is equal to 1, because here the angle, it is repeated in the denominator. Angle, it is measured in the radian, but you don't see whether this angle, it is approaches towards 0 or not. हा जो angle आहे, हा कशाला approach झाला पाहिजे? 0 ला approach झाला पाहिजे. Now if you observe this, x tends to 1, x plus 1, it is approaches. If you substitute 1, 1 plus 1, it is 2. Therefore you can't apply this formula, right? Therefore here as x tends to 1, but your angle, it is approaches towards what here? 2. And in the formula, our that is angle should approaches towards what here? 0. Therefore you this formula can't work here. हा formula इथे work करत नाही. Therefore समजा जर तुम्हाला लिमिट काढायची असेल तर तुम्ही ही डायरेक्ट अशी लिमिट काढू शकता, 1 plus 1 2 and divided by 2, isn't it? But whenever suppose I write the angle, that is x minus 1, say x minus 1, here x minus 1. Now the angle, it is repeated in the denominator. This angle, it is approaches towards 0, and as x tends to 1, x minus 1, it is approaches towards 0, because if you substitute 1, 1 minus 1, it is tends to what here? 0. Now you can say the limit of this function, it is nothing but 1. This is about the speciality of this formula. Whenever you have to apply this formula, you have to see the three things, that is 3 norms are there. Angle should be repeated in the denominator. That angle must approaches towards 0, and the angle must be measured in radian. If these 3 norms get satisfied, or these 3 conditions get satisfied, then and only then the limit of this function, it is equal to 1. हा फॉर्म्युला अप्लाय करताना आपल्याला बघायला पाहिजे अँगल डिनॉमिनेटर मध्ये रिपीट झाला की नाही, हा अँगल रेडियनमध्ये मेजर्ड होतो की नाही आणि हा अँगल 0ला अप्रोच होणं गरजेचं आहे, तरच या फंक्शनची लिमिट किती येते 1. So what is the first formula we have studied here? That is limit x tends to 1, x to the power n minus a to the power n divided by x minus a, that is equal to n into a to the power n minus 1. What is the second formula here? Limit theta tends to 0, sin theta divided by theta, it is equal to 1. Right? Now see the third formula here, because for the first principle of a derivative we required all these formulas. Therefore I am going to tell all this, I am going to explain all these formulas. Right? Now see the third one, limit x tends to 0, log of 1 plus x divided by x must be equal to 1. See here also 1 should be strictly there. 1 म्हणजे 1च पाहिजे, 2 3 4 5 100 असं काहीही नको, 1 म्हणजे 1. Whatever the term added, that should be repeat in the denominator. जी काय टर्म तुम्ही ॲड करता ती डिनॉमिनेटर रिपीट होणं गरजेचं आहे. If there is a x, x should be in the denominator. If there is a 2x, 2x should be in the denominator. If there is a sin theta, then sin theta should be in the denominator. If there is a log x again, then log x must be in the denominator. If e to the power x, e to the power x must be in the denominator. But whatever the term added, that should again approaches towards 0. जी काय टर्म तुम्ही ॲड करता ती कशाला अप्रोच झाली पाहिजे? 0ला अप्रोच झाली पाहिजे. 1 should be strictly there. Whatever the term added, that should be repeated in the denominator, and that added terms must be approaches towards 0. Again, if these three conditions get satisfied, then and only then the limit of this function it is equal to 1. Suppose I take the simple problem, limit x tends to 0, log of 1 plus 4x divided by 3 divided by x. Isn't it? Now how will you solve this? By this formula here, log of 1, it is already there, 4x divided by 3. The term added should be repeated in the denominator. मग डिनॉमिनेटर मध्ये किती पाहिजे आपल्याला? 4x divided by 3. Isn't it? मग इथे लिहिणार मी 4x divided by 3. पण असं जमेल, चालेल का? आपल्या मनाने जे लिहायचं आहे ते आपण ॲडजस्ट करण्यासाठी लिहिलं. But original problem should be remain as it is. For that purpose, you have to make one adjustment. You have divided with the extra term 4 by 3. Therefore, multiply with 4 by 3. Then and only then your original problem remain as it is. Isn't it? For the formula, applying the formula, for the application of a formula, this term must be in the denominator. But to adjust the problem, again you have to multiply with 4 by 3. आपण काय करतो? 1 तर पाहिजेच आहे आपल्याला आणि ही टर्म डिनॉमिनेटर पाहिजे, पण असला कुठलाही आगाऊपणा चालणार नाही, कारण आपल्याला गणित चेंज करता येत नाही. राईट? म्हणून 4x डिवायडेड बाय 3 ने मी डिवाइड केलं आणि मग 4 by 3 ने मल्टिप्लाय केलं, कारण हा x जो आहे तो ऑलरेडी इथे आहे. आता आपल्याला काय बघायचं आहे? हा जो अँगल आहे दॅट मस्ट बी अप्रोचेस टुवर्ड्स 0. इजंट इट? म्हणून जर बघितलं आपण, ॲज x टेंड्स टू 0, 4x divided by 3, it is also approaches towards 0. Because if you substitute 0 here, then this is approaches towards what here? 0. Now, the condition of this theorem, that is 1, it is strictly there. Whatever the term added, it is repeated in the denominator. Therefore, the limit of this function, it is equal to 1. And again, this is a constant term, and a constant term ची limit किती येते? Constantच. Therefore, what is the result of this function here? What is the result of this limit? That is 4 by 3. Therefore, this is the third formula. This is also you have to remember for the differentiation. Limit x tends to 0, log of 1 plus x divided by x, it is always equal to 1. Isn't it? So, the fourth one, see here. Because this is the topic of a 11th standard, the next formula, that is fourth one, limit x tends to 0, a to the power x minus 1 divided by x, it is equal to log a. See this formula here. Again a, that is the any constant term. It should not be negative. The base never be negative. It should be always greater than 0. Isn't it? Not equal to 0 also. It should be greater than 0. It should be 2, 3, 4, 5, 100 also. Right? Whatever the power, that should be repeated in the denominator. If the power is x, that should be repeat in the denominator. If the power is 5x, that should be repeat in the denominator. If the power is sin x should be in the denominator, and minus 1 should be strictly there. Again the condition here, this is the constant, this is base is the constant, it should not be negative, it is always greater than 0, right? It is not also equal to 0, then the problem is not formed. So whatever the power, that should be repeated in the denominator, and minus 1 should be strictly there. जो काय power आहे तो denominator मध्ये repeat होणं गरजेचं आहे, आणि इथे -1 म्हणजे -1च पाहिजे. जर 2, 3, 4, 5 असेल, then you have to make the adjustment, isn't it? So -1 should be strictly there, and whatever the power, that should again approaches towards 0. हा जो power आहे तो कशाला approach झाला पाहिजे, 0 ला approach होणं गरजेचं आहे, right? So how many conditions are there? 3 conditions. Power should be repeated in the denominator, -1 should be strictly there, and whatever the power, that should be approaches towards 0, isn't it? Suppose I take the one simple example. Suppose 2 to the power 3x minus 1 divided by x, right? Again limit x tends to 0. What do you want? Power should be repeated in the denominator. Power किती आहे? 3x. हा 3x इथे रिपीट झाला पाहिजे, म्हणून आपण काय लिहिणार? 2 to the power 3x डिवाइडेड बाय, खाली किती लिहिणार मी? 3x, राईट? पण असलं आगाव पण आपल्याला जमणार नाही. 3 ने डिवाइड केलं, देन यू हॅव टू मल्टिप्लाय विथ 3, isn't it? So that the problem get adjusted, or original problem remain as it is. But here, as x tends to 0, 3x, it is approaches towards 0. Therefore the limit of this function -1, it is strictly there. -1 म्हणजे -1च आहे. हा पॉवर डिनॉमिनेटर मध्ये रिपीट झालाय, आणि हा पॉवर कशाला अप्रोच होतोय? 0 ला अप्रोच होतोय, म्हणून याची लिमिट किती येणार? log 2, आणि हा 3 जसाच्या तसा. Therefore 3 log 2 is the result. याला आपण by the rules of a logarithm, हा 3 याच्या डोक्यावर सुद्धा नेऊ शकतो. Means 3 you can write as a log of 2 to the power 3, and 2 to the power 3, it is nothing but what here? log 8. Therefore the two results are there. 3 log 2 पण आन्सर असेल, आणि इथे that is log 8 हे सुद्धा आन्सर असू शकते. Therefore we have studied the fourth formula of a limit, that is limit x tends to 0, a raised to x minus 1 divided by x, it is equal to what here? log a. समजा मी असं घेतलं इथे cos x, राईट? सो सॉरी x, एक प्रॉब्लेम घेतला. सी हियर, लिमिट x टेंड्स टू 0, a to the power cos x minus 1 divided by cos x. Now see, at once again you say, अगदी बघितलं की सगळ्यांनी सांगेल उत्तर काय आहे? log a. पण तसं नाही, बिकॉज यू हॅव टू फॉलो ऑल द कंडिशन्स. आपल्याला सगळ्या कंडिशन बारकाईने फॉलो करावे लागतात. हियर द पॉवर इट इज रिपीटेड इन द डिनॉमिनेटर, पॉवर रिपीट झालेला आहे, -1 पण आहे. बट ॲज एक्स टेंड्स टू 0, सी cos 0 इट इज अप्रोचेस टुवर्ड्स 1. 0 ला अप्रोच झाला का? पॉवर 0 ला अप्रोच झाला का? नाही. हा पॉवर कुठे अप्रोच झाला? 1 ला. मग चालतं का? या कंडिशन सॅटिस्फाय होतात का? नाही. मग हा फॉर्म्युला वर्क करतो का? नाही. मग काय करायचं इथे? जर तुमचं प्रॉब्लेम असं असेल, इफ यू चेंज द लिमिट दॅट इज π/2, तरच जमतं नाटक. बिकॉज पॉवर इट इज रिपीटेड इन द डिनॉमिनेटर, -1 इट इज स्ट्रिक्टली देअर, अँड ॲज x tends to π/2, cos π/2 also approaches towards 0. Now the limit of this function, that is nothing but what here? log a. So this is about the fourth formula, and on the basis of this, suppose there is a e, then the answer is log e. And what is the value of a log e? The log e, it is always equal to what here? 1, right? Therefore the fifth formula here, limit x tends to 0, e raised to x minus 1 divided by x, it is always equal to 1. So in the limit there are the 5 formulas. First, this is the algebraic formula, this is the trigonometric, this is the logarithmic, and these two are the exponential. Because there are so many type of a functions, algebraic functions, trigonometric functions, inverse trigonometric function, logarithmic function, exponential function, and in the limit, the chapter limit, we have to find out the limit of all such functions, that is the algebraic function, trigonometric function, exponential function, logarithmic function, inverse function also, isn't it? Therefore, but in your syllabus there is a not the limit of a inverse function, but in the whole JEE also there is a limit of a inverse trigonometric function. Therefore, it is necessary to study all these formulae, and you should know all the formulas. This is algebraic, this is trigonometric, this is logarithmic, and these both are the exponential function. Therefore, in the chapter limit you have to find out the limit of a all the functions, and you should know the functions very well, because that function chapter, it is in the 11th standard. Therefore, you should know the clear idea about the functions, isn't it? Graph of the function and the different type of a functions and their conditions you should know, isn't it? But that is in the 11th standard. And for the differentiation we required all these formulas. Therefore, we have studied all these formulas here. Now, by the first principle of a derivative, here we can derive the formulas of the derivative. See here, the differentiation. Now I am going to start the differentiation. That is the first chapter of the derivative, and you should know all the formulas of a derivative, right? आणि हे फॉर्म्युले कुठून आणले, काय आणले, तुम्हाला हायर स्टडीसाठी सगळं डिटेल्स माहिती असणं आवश्यक आहे. जेव्हा केव्हा तुम्ही कुठे लेक्चर घ्याल ते घ्याल, तर जर मुलांनी प्रश्न विचारला हा फॉर्म्युला कुठून आला, you must have to explain, isn't it? Therefore, the detailed study, it is very, very important. If you know all the points, all the angles of the chapter, then and only then you can give the answer of your MCQs. तरच तुम्ही तुमच्या MCQच्या आन्सर्स देऊ शकतात. आज जे चाललेलं आहे सगळं की JEE आणि MCQ पासून सुरू आहे, that is totally wrong from my angle, isn't it? Therefore, subject knowledge, it is very, very important. Knowledge असणं गरजेचं आहे. You should be knowledgeable. तुम्ही परीक्षार्थी होऊ नका, knowledgeable व्हा, right? Now see the first differentiation, and in the differentiation that is nothing but what here derivative. याला दुसरं नाव काय आहे? Derivative. कोणी differentiation म्हणतात, कोणी derivative म्हणतात. Now what is the first principle of a derivative? The first principle of derivative. See what is the first principle? That is f dash x. It is equal to limit h tends to 0 किंवा del x tends to 0, काही घेऊ शकता तुम्ही. f of x plus del x minus f of x divided by del x. Or you can see, if I write del x, it is, that is the small change in the value of x, and that change I can denote it by h also. Therefore, the limit h tends to 0, f of x plus h minus f of x divided by h, it is equal to f dash x. This is the first principle of a derivative, isn't it? That is f dash x, it is equal to limit h tends to 0, f of x plus h minus f of x divided by h. This is the first principle of derivative, and with this principle we can derive all the formulas of the derivative. So the first formula, that is derivative ddx of x to the power n, it is equal to n into x to the power n minus 1. हा आपण याला पॉवर फॉर्म्युला म्हणू, अल्जेब्रिक फॉर्म्युला म्हणू. इथे x टू द पॉवर n असेल तर डेरिव्हेटिव्ह काय येतं, n इंटू एक्स टू द पॉवर n मायनस 1. इथे पॉवर मल्टिप्लाय केले आहे आणि एक्सच्या पॉवरमधनं x सबट्रॅक्ट केलेलं आहे, राईट. हा फॉर्म्युला बघायला हे करायला सोपा. आता आपण डिराईव्ह करणार आहोत, आणि कशाने? फर्स्ट प्रिन्सिपल ऑफ डेरिव्हेटिव्ह. नो इफ यू ऑब्झर्व दिस, इन द फर्स्ट प्रिन्सिपल the function, this is the function x to the power n, it is nothing but what your function, means they have given the function. Here you want to find out f of x plus h, right? Therefore, to derive this formula you require the function is what here? See, the function is x to the power n. What do you want? F of x plus h, means x it is replaced with x plus h. मग असं लिहितात काही जण, इथे x प्लस h असेल तर n x टू द पॉवर n प्लस h. इज इट करेक्ट? नाही. आपण फक्त n असा h मिळवलेला आहे का? नाही. हा x कशाने रिप्लेस केलेला आहे? x प्लस h ने. मग इथला x सुद्धा कशाने रिप्लेस करायचा? x प्लस h होल टू द पॉवर n. Isn't it? Now using the first principle, say using first principle of derivative. See, the first principle of derivative, that is f dash x is equal to limit h tends to 0 f of x plus h minus f of x divided by h, right. Now limit h tends to 0. What is f of x plus h? X plus h whole to the power n minus x to the power n divided by h, right. Now here you can use the binomial theorem also, but I am going to give you the short way. See, how will you find out the limit? You should know the formula, that is x to the power n minus a to the power n divided by x minus a, it is equal to n into a to the power n minus 1. But here there is in this formula there is only the term that is x, and here there is a x plus h. Therefore, I going to substitute here, put x plus h, suppose it is equal to y. Now you substituted, आपण काय केलं, x plus h च्या ठिकाणी y ठेवलं. पण ही जी काय लिमिट आहे, इट इज इन कन्सर्न विथ व्हॉट हिअर दिस फंक्शन, आणि जेव्हा तुम्ही सबस्टिट्यूट केलं तर ॲटोमॅटिकली द लिमिट गेट चेंज, इजंट इट. देअरफॉर ॲज h टेंड्स टू 0, h ची जवळपास किंमत किती आहे 0, मग इथे जर 0 ठेवलं तर y ची जवळपास किंमत किती येते x. देअरफॉर हिअर यू हॅव टू चेंज द लिमिट, कारण तुम्ही फंक्शन इथे चेंज केलं, x प्लस h बरोबर काय ठेवलं y, आणि ही जी लिमिट आहे इट इज इन कन्सर्न विथ दिस फंक्शन. म्हणून ही लिमिटसुद्धा जेव्हा तुम्ही सबस्टिट्यूट करता तेव्हा ही लिमिटसुद्धा चेंज होते. मग एचची जवळपास किंमत किती आहे 0, एच इट इज अप्रोचेस टुवर्ड्स व्हॉट हिअर 0. मग एच जर 0ला अप्रोच होत असेल तर हा वाय कशाला अप्रोच होतो, एक्सला. म्हणून इथे काय लिहिणार आपण, वाय टेंड्स टू एक्स, एक्स प्लस एच म्हणजे वाय, वाय टू द पॉवर एन मायनस एक्स टू द पॉवर एन. नाव व्हॉट इज एच? If you try to find out h, it is nothing but y minus x. Here you write y minus x. Now your first formula we have studied now, that is useful, n into a to the power n minus 1. Here you can write n into x to the power n minus 1, isn't it? Therefore here you have got f dash x is equal to this. Now f dash x means what here the notation we have studied in the first video. The f dash x, it is nothing but ddx of f of x. You have got as a n into x to the power n minus 1, and ddx of what is f of x? The f of x, it is nothing but x to the power n, and the formula that is n into x to the power n minus 1. So here you have got the first formula of the derivative, that is x to the power n is equal to n into x to the power n minus 1. From this you can find out, see, this is the first formula. Suppose you want to find out the derivative of a only x. What is the power? 1, right? So here in place of n there is what here 1. Therefore what is the formula? How will you apply this formula? 1 into x to the power n means what here 1, 1 minus 1. That is 1 into x to the power what here 0, and anything to the power 0 that is always equal to what here, x to the power 0 that is always equal to 1. Therefore ddx of x to ddx of only x, it is always equal to 1. This is the second algebraic formula. What is the first algebraic formula? X to the power n is equal to n into x to the power n minus 1. What is the second algebraic formula? That is the ddx of x, x चे derivative नेहमी किती येणार आहे 1. The third algebraic formula, see here, suppose ddx of root x. How will you write root x? जर रूट काढलं तर याचा पॉवर किती येतो 1/2, isn't it? Therefore again if you observe this by using the first, that is power formula, n is it is equal to 1/2. n म्हणजे किती आहे 1/2, मग 1/2 x to the power n minus 1 म्हणजे 1/2 minus 1, म्हणजेच इथे काय येतं 1/2 x to the power 1/2 minus 1 means minus 1/2. निगेटिव्ह इंडेक्स यू कॅन कन्वर्ट इंटू पॉझिटिव्ह, दॅट इज याला पॉझिटिव्हमध्ये कन्वर्ट करायचं असेल तर डिनॉमिनेटरमध्ये घ्यावं लागतं, म्हणजेच इथे येतं 1/2 root x, x to the power 1/2 means root x. Therefore here the third algebraic formula you have got as a ddx of root x, it is always equal to 1/2 root x. What is the first algebraic formula? X to the power n, it is equal to n into x to the power n minus 1. What is the second algebraic formula? The derivative of x, that is ddx of x, it is always equal to 1. The third algebraic formula, that is the ddx of root x, it is always equal to 1 upon 2 root x, right? Suppose you try to find out the constant, isn't it? Constant function चे derivative. बघा, first principle ने f of x is equal to k. f of x plus h, इथे x आहे का? h मिळवायला नाही. म्हणून हे सुद्धा काय येईल? kच येईल. हे बघा, f of x plus h is equal to k. Again, if you apply the first principle, here you have got limit h tends to 0. इथे काय ठेवणार k? इथे सुद्धा k divided by h. k minus k 0. 0 divided by h, it is always equal to 0. Therefore, the fourth algebraic formula, that is the derivative of a constant function, it is always equal to 0. Right? And again, the fifth algebraic formula, that is say, suppose fifth algebraic ddx of 1 upon x to the power n. समजा तुमच्या x चा पावर खाली असेल, मग काय करणार आपण? समजा याला वर नेलं या फॉर्म्युल्याप्रमाणे, तर पावर काय होतो? मायनस n. परत हा पहिलाच फॉर्म्युला यूज करायचा आहे. n च्या जागी काय? फक्त मायनस n. मग मायनस n x टू द पॉवर n च्या जागी मायनस n मायनस 1. अगेन मायनस n x to the power. If you take minus sign common, then you have got n plus 1. Again you can convert the negative index into positive, that is minus n divided by, समजा आपल्याला निगेटिव्ह इंडेक्स हा पॉझिटिव्ह मध्ये कन्वर्ट करायचा असेल तर यू हॅव टू टेक इन द डिनॉमिनेटर म्हणजे n plus 1. Therefore here you have got, that is ddx of 1 upon x to the power n, it is equal to minus n divided by x to the power n plus 1. Therefore, these are the 5 formulas, that is the algebraic formulas of the derivative. The x to the power n चे derivative, n into x to the power n minus 1. x चे derivative 1. Root x चे derivative 1 upon 2 root x. Again, k चे derivative means the constant चे derivative किती येते 0, आणि 1 upon x to the power n चे derivative minus n divided by x to the power n plus 1, isn't it? So these are the 5 algebraic formulas. Again see, the derivative of x to the power n into x to the power n minus 1, पावर मल्टिप्लाय करायचा आणि x च्या पावर मधून एक सबट्रॅक्ट करायचा. ठीक आहे. सो द x टू द पॉवर n ची डेरिव्हेटिव्ह n इंटू x टू द पॉवर n मायनस 1. x ची डायरेक्ट लक्षात ठेवायची. x ची डेरिव्हेटिव्ह 1 इथे प्रूव्ह पण केलेलं आहे मी. त्यानंतर रूट x ची डेरिव्हेटिव्ह 1 अपॉन 2 रूट x. त्यानंतर कॉन्स्टंटची डेरिव्हेटिव्ह 0 आणि 1 अपॉन x टू द पॉवर n ची डेरिव्हेटिव्ह किती येते? मायनस n डिवायडेड बाय x टू द पॉवर n प्लस 1. Isn't it? Now I am telling you that is the limit of, sorry, the derivative of a algebraic function, isn't it? Now your function, suppose sin x, see the sin x, f of x is equal to sin x. You have to find out f dash x, right? F dash x काढायचं आहे तुम्हाला. Again by the first principle of a derivative, f of x दिलेला आहे, राईट. आता आपल्याला काय करायचं आहे? एफ ऑफ एक्स प्लस एच घ्यायचं आहे. म्हणजेच हा एक्स जो आहे हा कशाने रिप्लेस करायचा? एक्स प्लस एचने, युझिंग फर्स्ट प्रिन्सिपल ऑफ डेरिव्हेटिव्ह. व्हॉट इज द फर्स्ट प्रिन्सिपल ऑफ डेरिव्हेटिव्ह? एफ डॅश एक्स इज इक्वल टू लिमिट एच टेंड्स टू 0 साइन एक्स प्लस एच, सॉरी फॉर्म्युला लिहा, x plus h minus f of x divided by h. Here again limit h tends to 0. f of x plus h means what here? Sin x plus h minus sin x आणि divided by h. आता जो आपला लिमिटचा फॉर्म्युला आहे, लिमिट theta tends to 0 sin theta divided by theta is equal to 1. You can't apply directly. Therefore, you have to must do some other calculations or some other tricks you have to use here, right? So, what can you do? If you observe this, we have studied the formulae like this. This is just like sin A minus sin B. Now, these are the factorization formulas. Sin A minus sin B. What is the formula sin A minus sin B? That is 2 cos A plus B divided by 2 sin A minus B divided by 2, right? आपल्या हातात एवढंच आहे. इथे पुढे जर प्रोसीड व्हायचं असेल देन यू हॅव टू अप्लाय द फॉर्म्युला बिकॉज दॅट इज द फॉर्म्युला ऑफ ए लिमिट ऑफ द ट्रिग्नोमेट्रिक फंक्शन यू कांट डायरेक्टली अप्लाय. तुम्ही हा फॉर्म्युला जो शिकवलेला मी तो डायरेक्ट अप्लाय करू शकत नाही. देअरफोर हिअर यू हॅव टू अप्लाय द फॅक्टरायझेशन फॉर्म्युला साइन ए मायनस साइन बी. So what is sin a minus sin b? 2 cos a plus b divided by 2 sin a minus b divided by 2. Here also limit h tends to 0, 2 cos say a plus b means x plus h plus x divided by 2, and here sin x plus h minus x divided by 2 divided by h. आपण फक्त एक साइन फंक्शनचीच लिमिट बघितली. So the limit of a cos बघितलं का नाही. Therefore here the limit of a cos function you have to find out directly. For the cos function there is no any formula, no any adjustment. You can find out the limit of a cos function directly, isn't it? Therefore if you observe this limit h tends to 0, 2 cos इथे x plus x 2x plus h divided by 2, isn't it? याची लिमिट तुम्ही डायरेक्ट काढू शकता आणि डायरेक्ट काढलं तरी फंक्शन काहीच अफेक्ट होत नाही. इफ यू सबस्टिट्यूट 0 इथे जर आपण 0 ठेवलं तर 2x डिवायडेड बाय 2 2 गेट कॅन्सल यू विल गेट cos x, isn't it? बट हिअर x गेट कॅन्सल. काय आलं साइन h बाय 2. आता hच्या ठिकाणी 0 ठेवलं तर साइन 0 आणि परत हा 0 म्हणजे 0 बाय 0 अनडिफाईन्ड होते. Therefore here you have to make the adjustment. म्हणून इथे limit h tends to 0 sin h by 2. What is the angle? h by 2. Here also angle should be repeated in the denominator. किती पाहिजे h by 2? 1 by 2 नी डिवाइड केलं याला म्हणून 2 नी आपण काय करायचं मल्टिप्लाय. Now angle it is repeated in the denominator. That angle must approaches towards 0. Then and only then the limit of this function it is equal to 1. Therefore as h tends to 0 h by 2 approaches towards 0. Therefore the limit of this function it is equal to 1 and this is 1 by 2 remain as it is. Here 2 cos of इथे जर 0 ठेवलं तर 2x divided by 2 2 get cancel x आणि इथे ही 1 आणि 1 by 2 2 get cancel cos x. Therefore the f dash x you have got as a cos x आणि f dash x म्हणजेच काय आहे ddx of f of x is equal to cos x आणि ddx of f of x म्हणजे sin x, and here you have got the derivative of a sin x that is equal to cos x. That is the sixth formula, but this is the trigonometric formula, that is the derivative of a sin x you have got as a cos x. Similarly we can find out the derivative of a cos x also. Suppose the function is cos x, see here you have to find out this again cos x. Here in place of this you can substitute cos x, again cos x plus h, here also cos x. Now what you have to do? Again apply the formula cos a minus cos b. See, right? See the formula again. Cos a minus cos b. What is the formula cos a minus cos b? You should know all the formulas of the 11th standard, isn't it? Cos a minus cos b, that is minus 2 sin a plus b divided by 2 sin a minus b divided by 2. This is the formula, and this formula here you have to apply, right? So the limit h tends to 0, c minus 2 sin a plus b, a means x plus h, b means x, x plus x divided by 2, and sin x plus h minus x divided by 2 divided by h, right? Again if you observe this, या पहिल्या टर्म मध्ये जर तुम्ही 0 ठेवत असाल तर x plus x 2x 2 गेट कॅन्सल. हे जे फंक्शन आहे अफेक्ट होतं का? 0 वगैरे येतं का? काही 0 बाय 0 येतं का? नाही. म्हणून याची लिमिट तुम्ही डायरेक्ट काढू शकता -2 लिमिट h टेंड्स टू 0 कॉन्स्टंट टर्म रिमेन ॲज इट इज साइन ऑफ 2x plus h डिवायडेड बाय 2. पण इथे जर बघितलं परत h बाय 2 इथे h 0 ठेवा, हे 0 ठेवा, अनडिफाइंड होतं. देअरफॉर लिमिट h टेंड्स टू 0 sin h by 2 divided by h, but what do you want? Angle should be repeated in the denominator, h by 2 into 2, again as h tends to 0 h by 2 approaches towards 0, this -2 remain as it is. इथे जर 0 ठेवला तर काय येतं sin x आणि याची तर काय येतं 1, आणि इथे 1/2. Again 2 to get cancel, you have got minus sin x. Therefore again here f dash x you have got as a minus sin x. परत f dash x means d dx of f of x is equal to minus sin x आणि f of x म्हणजे काय आहे cos x आणि cos x ची डेरिव्हेटिव्ह किती आली minus sin x. Therefore here again we have studied the two formulas, that is d dx of sin x, it is equal to cos x and d dx of cos x, here you have got as a minus sin x, right. Now similarly you can study the third formula, that is tan x, right. F dash x kada, again f of x plus h, it is equal to tan of x plus h, right. Here again using the first principle, see here, limit h tends to 0, that is tan of x plus h minus tan x divided by h. Now there is no such a formula tan a minus tan b, असा कुठल्याही प्रकारचा फॉर्म्युला नाही आहे tan a minus tan b. Therefore you have to make the conversion, that is tan you can write as a sin by cos, sin x plus h divided by cos x plus h sin x divided by cos x divided by h, right. Here again limit h tends to 0, sin x plus h, cross multiplication sin x plus h into cos x आणि minus cos x plus h into sin x divided by cos x plus h into cos x divided by h means into h, isn't it. A by b divided by c means a by b multiplied 1 by c, म्हणून हा जो h आहे हा इथे मल्टिप्लाइड होतो, राइट. अगेन यू हॅव टू अप्लाय द फॉर्म्युला sin a cos b minus cos a sin b, this is the formula of a sin a minus b, right. This is the angle addition formulas and you should know that is sin a cos b minus cos a sin b, this is the formula of sin a minus b. कशाचा फॉर्म्युला आहे हा sin a minus b चा. बघा मग इथे a म्हणजे काय आहे x plus h आणि b म्हणजे काय आहे x. Therefore limit h tends to 0, sin a minus b means x plus h minus x divided by sin x plus h, त्यानंतर cos x आणि into 1 by h, right. Here again x x get cancel, what you have got, limit h tends to 0, sin काय राहिलं फक्त h, हे बघा h आणि sin h याच्या खाली कोण ॲडजस्ट होतं, हा h ॲडजस्ट होतं. And here you have to find out the limit of remaining function, that is limit h tends to 0, 1 upon sin x plus h and into cos x, right. So sin h divided by h, as h tends to 0 it is nothing but 1. Here again you can find out directly, इथे जर 0 ठेवला तर काय येतं sin x आणि इथे जर आपण हे ठेवलं तर काय येतं cos x. Sorry, here we want cos, here again cos, here cos, cos x plus h, here also cos x plus cos x. Again 1 upon cos x, 1 upon cos x, that is nothing but 1 upon cos square x, and 1 upon cos square x, it is nothing but sec square x, right. Therefore here the f dash x again you have got as a sec square x आणि f dash x म्हणजे d dx of tan x, it is equal to sec square x, right. Therefore the third formula we have studied, that is the d dx of a tan x, it is equal to sec square x, right. So three trigonometric formulas. See here the function that is tan x, here we want f of x plus h is equal to tan x plus h, right. Therefore tan x plus h minus tan x divided by h. There is no such a formula tan a minus tan b, म्हणून आपण काय केलेलं आहे इथे याचं कन्वर्जन केलेलं आहे. टॅन म्हणजे साइन बाय कॉस, इथे पण साइन बाय कॉस, क्रॉस मल्टिप्लिकेशन केलेलं आहे. साइन एक्स प्लस एच इंटू कॉस एक्स मायनस cos x plus h into sin x divided by h, isn't it? Again, this here you have to apply the formula sin a minus b. What is the formula sin a minus b? Sin a cos b minus cos a sin b. This is the formula of a sin a minus b. Here also sin x plus h into cos x minus cos x plus h into sin x. Therefore, this is the formula of a sin x plus h minus x divided by cos x plus h into cos x into h, right? This term remain as it is. Again, x get cancel, here you have got sin h आणि या sin h च्या खाली हा h ॲडजस्ट होतो. इथे आपण h ॲडजस्ट केला. त्यानंतर 1 cos x plus h आणि cos x हे जसंच्या तसं. हिअर द लिमिट इज 1. इथे जर 0 ठेवलं तर cos x, हा cos x इट इज इंडिपेंडंट ऑफ h, कन्सिडर्ड ॲज अ कॉन्स्टंट आणि कॉन्स्टंटची लिमिट कॉन्स्टंट, म्हणून इथे मिळतं 1 cos square x आणि 1 cos square x म्हणजे sec square x. Therefore, here you have got the derivative of a tan x that is equal to sec square x. Let us continue again. We have to find out the derivative of a now sec x, cosec x and cot x with the help of a first principle, isn't it? Again, the function is f of x is equal to sec x, f of x plus h, it is equal to sec of x plus h using first principle of derivative f dash x is equal to limit h tends to 0 f of x plus h minus f of x divided by h, right? Limit h tends to 0 sec x plus h minus sec x divided by h, right? Now here again there is no such a formula sec a minus sec b. Therefore, what you have to do? You have to make the conversion. The sec it is nothing but 1 by cos. Therefore, I write here that is 1 upon cos x plus h. Here also 1 upon cos x divided by h, right? Now, by the cross multiplication, see next step तीच करावी लागेल आपल्याला cos x minus cos of x plus h divided by cos x plus h cos x into h, isn't it? हा angle जरा x plus h याच्यापेक्षा मोठा आहे. Therefore, I take the minus sign common. If you take minus sign common, this you can write this term before that x plus h minus cos x divided by cos x plus h into cos x into h. Again here you have to apply the formula cos a minus cos b. Again, what is the formula cos a minus cos b? आत्ताच सांगितलं मी, minus 2 sin a plus b divided by 2 sin a minus b divided by 2, right? Therefore, here again minus limit h tends to 0 minus 2 sin x plus h plus x divided by 2 sin x plus h minus x divided by 2 divided by cos x plus h into cos x into h, isn't it? Now, here again minus minus plus, see this minus plus 2 remain as it is, limit h tends to 0. Again, if you observe this sin, this you can write as x plus x 2x divided by h sin 2x plus h divided by 2. आता जर आपण ऑब्झर्वेशन केलं हे फंक्शन आणि हे फंक्शन, इथे तुम्ही डायरेक्ट लिमिट काढू शकता कारण फंक्शन अफेक्ट होत नाही. इथे 0 ठेवा cos x येतं. हा जो cos x आहे इंडिपेंडंट ऑफ h, कॉन्स्टंटची लिमिट कॉन्स्टंट येते. इथे जर x गेट कॅन्सल केलं तर हा h टेंड्स टू 0 परत 0 आणि हा 0. म्हणून फक्त एवढ्याच फंक्शनला आपल्याला ॲडजस्ट करायचं आहे अँड 1 2 3 ह्या फंक्शनची आपल्याला डायरेक्ट लिमिट काढायची आहे. सो हिअर यू कॅन राईट cos x plus h, इथे cos x, right? And here again limit h tends to 0 sin what h by 2. again this is h, again h by 2 into 2, because the angle should be repeated in the denominator. Now you can find out the limit directly here. See 2, इथे साइन समजा 0 ठेवलं तर 2x डिवाइडेड बाय 2, 2 टू गेट कॅन्सल x, इथे cos h इज इक्वल टू 0 म्हणजे cos x इट इज इंडिपेंडंट ऑफ h कन्सिडर्ड ॲज अ कॉन्स्टंट, याची 1/2, इथे 1 आणि ही 1/2, 2 टू गेट कॅन्सल, साइन बाय cos यू हॅव टू राईट ॲज अ टॅन आणि 1/cos यू कॅन राईट ॲज अ सेक. Therefore, here you have got the ddx of sec x, it is equal to sec x into tan x. Right? Here we have proved the fourth formula, fourth trigonometric formula, the derivative of a sec x, that is sec x into tan x. Right? Now next here, that is the cosec x. Here cosec x, here again cosec x plus h, here cosec x plus h, here again cosec x plus h, cosec x plus h, cosec x, right? Now again you have to make the conversion. काय करावं लागेल तुम्हाला आता परत? कोसेकला you have to write as a 1/sin limit h tends to 0, 1/sin x plus h minus 1/sin x divided by h, right? Here again limit h tends to 0, sin x minus sin x plus h divided by sin x plus h into sin x into h. परत हा अँगल मोठा आहे म्हणून मी मायनस साइन कॉमन घेणार. लिमिट h टेंड्स टू 0, sin x प्लस h minus sin x divided by sin x plus h into sin x into h. Again apply the formula sin a minus sin b. काय सांगितलं होतं फॉर्म्युला sin a minus sin b? See here again I am going to explain here. Sin a minus sin b, the formula sin a minus sin b 2 cos a plus b divided by 2 sin a minus b divided by 2. Right? 2 cos a plus b divided by 2 sin a minus b divided by 2. 2 cos x plus h plus x divided by 2. त्यानंतर sin x plus h minus x divided by 2 divided by sin x plus h sin x and h. Again as usual this function and this function you can find out the limit directly, and here only you have to adjust because this is h and this is h. Here this h and this h you have to adjust. बाकी तिन्ही फंक्शनचे लिमिट तुम्ही डायरेक्ट काढू शकता. -2 लिमिट h टेंड्स टू 0 cos of x plus x to x plus h divided by 2. Here again cos x plus h into sin x आणि इथे लिमिट h tends to 0 sin h by 2. Angle should be repeated in the denominator. हा h by 2 into what here 2, right? -2 इथे 0 ठेवा. 2x divided by 2, 2 to get cancel cos x. इथे जर हे केलं तुम्ही साइन, इथे जर 0 ठेवलं तर sin x, इथे sin x, इथे 1/2, right? Again 2 to get cancel. Minus sign remain as it is. Cos divided by sin cot and 1/sin cosec, right? Therefore again you have got the ddx of cosec x, here you have got as a minus cosec x into cot x, right? So the fifth trigonometric formula, that is the cosec x ची derivative येते minus cosec x into cot x, right? Now cot x, the last algebraic formula, that is cot x. इथे cot x, cot x plus h. Here again cot x plus h, cot x Again you have to make the convergence here, because there is no such a formula cot A minus cot B, right? Therefore here limit h tends to 0. Cot ला काय लिहू शकता तुम्ही cos x plus h, cos by sin, again x plus h, sin x plus h, here cos x divided by sin x divided by h, right? Limit h tends to 0, cross multiplication cos x plus h into sin x minus sin x plus h into cos x divided by sin x plus h into sin x into h, right? Again the same here, you have to apply the formula sin a cos b minus cos a sin b, but before that you can take minus sign common. जर तुम्ही minus sign common काढलं तर sin ची टर्म पहिले येते. इथे minus sign जर common काढलं इथे बघा, लिमिट h tends to 0, ही पहिले लिहिते मी टर्म sin x plus h into cos x minus cos x plus h into sin x divided by, see here, divided by sin x plus h, त्यानंतर sin x आणि इथे h. Again the same angle addition formula, sin a cos b minus cos a sin b. This is the formula of sin a minus b, means sin x plus h minus x divided by sin x plus h into sin x into h. This get cancelled, minus sign remain as it is, limit h tends to 0, sin, what is the angle? H. Again this angle, it is repeated in the denominator आहे already, त्याच्यामुळे ॲडजस्ट करायची गरज नाही आपल्याला, आणि या दोन टर्म राहिलेल्या आहेत x प्लस h आणि इंटू साइन x. मग याची लिमिट माहिती आहे तुम्हाला, दॅट इज 1, हे -1. इथे जर 0 ठेवलं तर साइन x, इथे पण साइन x, 1 अपॉन -1 अपॉन साइन स्क्वेअर x, आणि 1 अपॉन साइन स्क्वेअर x म्हणजे कोसेक स्क्वेअर x. देअरफॉर ddx ऑफ cot x you have got as a minus cosec square x. हे करत असताना तुम्ही लिमिट पण शिकताय आणि डेरिव्हेटिव्ह पण शिकताय. सो हियर वी हॅव डिराइव्ड द 6th trigonometric formulas. What is that 6th trigonometric formula here? That is 6-1. The ddx आपण 5 अल्जेब्रिक शिकलो, आता 6 trigonometric, that is ddx of sin x you have got as a cos x, ddx of cos x you have got as a minus sin x, ddx of tan x you have got as a sec square x, ddx of sec x you have got as a sec x into tan x. Here again ddx of cosec x you have got as a minus cosec x into cot x, and ddx of cot x you have got as a minus cosec square x. So these are the 6th algebraic formulas. The 6th trigonometric formulas, sorry, and 5 algebraic formulas: x to the power n, x, root x, k, and 1 upon x to the power n. 6th trigonometric formula is sin, cos, tan, sec, cosec, cot. Now we have to study about the exponential derivative of a exponential function. Again very simple here, see, and the logarithmic function. You can take any as a first here, f of x, suppose log x, then find f dash x, logarithmic function. Again f of x is equal to log x, right? F of x plus h is equal to log of x plus h, right? Using first principle of derivative, that is f dash x is equal to limit h tends to 0, f of x plus h minus f of x divided by h, isn't it? Therefore limit h tends to 0, log of x plus h, f of x means log x, and divided by h. Now here What do you mean by the log of A minus log of B? What is the rule? Log of A minus log of B, it is nothing but log of A by B, right? Therefore, apply the rule of logarithm, limit h tends to 0, log A minus log B you can write as a x plus h divided by x, right, divided by h. Again, limit h tends to 0. By this x, you have to divide both the terms, that is x plus h. दोन्ही याला separate divide करायचं. x get cancel. You have got 1. Here h divided by x. Again, by the condition, 1 should be strictly there. Whatever the term added, that should be repeat in the denominator. H is already there. What do you want? X and into x. Again, this term must approaches towards 0 as h tends to 0, h by x approaches towards 0. Therefore, the limit of this function, that is equal to 1, and this is 1 by x, it is independent of h, considered as a constant, and here you have got 1 by x. Therefore, the ddx of you have got as a log x, the derivative of a log x, very important formula. log x ची डेरिव्हेटिव्ह किती आली? 1 by x. याच्यातच थोडा फरक आहे. log of x to the base a, log of x to the base a, log of x plus h to the base a, इथे पण log of x plus h to the base a, इथे पण a, and here also a. एक minute, now see here. Again you have to apply the rule. Say the log of a to the base a, it is nothing but what here? Log of a divided by log of b. This is the rule of a logarithm. मग आपण इथे काय करू शकतो? लिमिट h tends to 0, log of x plus h divided by log a minus log of x divided by log a divided by h. Again, if you observe this, 1 upon log a, 1 upon log a, 1 upon log a you can take common. Limit h tends to 0, this is also the constant, and you can take common log of x plus h minus log x divided by h, right? आणि हे आत्ताच काढलेले आहे आपण. 1 upon log a remain as it is. See, again by the rule of logarithm, limit h tends to 0, log of a minus log of b means log of x plus h divided by x divided by h. Here 1 upon log a, limit h tends to 0, separate divide करा. x ने x ला divide केलं तर 1 plus h by x divided by 1 should be strictly there. Whatever the term added, that should be repeat in the denominator, h by x into x, as h tends to 0, h by x approaches towards 0, isn't it? Now 1 upon log a constant remain as it is. याची किती येते? 1 आणि ही 1 by x. म्हणजेच उत्तर किती आलं? 1 upon x log a. Therefore, again the second logarithmic important formula, that is ddx of log of x to the base a, it is equal to 1 upon x log a. Very important. Now these are the two logarithmic function, isn't it? And here the derivative of a two logarithmic function. Now the last here, that is the exponential, isn't it? Suppose f of x is equal to a to the power x, find f dash x. Again, f of x is equal to a raised to x, f of x plus h. X it is replaced with x plus h, right? Again, using the first principle of derivative, I am going to substitute this value. See here, limit h tends to 0, f of x plus h means a to the power x plus h minus a to the power x divided by h, right? It's very simple. याला तुम्ही असं लिहू शकता, a to the power x, a to the power h, because when the base is same you can add indices. बेस जर सेम असेल तर तुम्ही इंडायसेस ॲड करू शकता. त्याच पद्धतीने तुम्ही इथे सेपरेट पण करू शकता, a raised to x divided by h. No, limit h tends to 0, a to the power x you can take common, a raised to h minus 1 divided by h. Again if you observe this, a raised to x इट इज इंडिपेंडंट ऑफ एच, याचा काहीही अर्थवरती संबंध नाही, कन्सिडर्ड ॲज अ कॉन्स्टंट, आणि कॉन्स्टंटची लिमिट कॉन्स्टंट. पण आत्ताच आपण बघितला हा फॉर्म्युला, ए टू द पॉवर एच मायनस वन डिवायडेड बाय एच. मायनस वन शुड बी स्ट्रिक्टली देअर, वॉट एव्हर द पॉवर that should be repeat in the denominator and that power must approaches towards 0. मग याची लिमिट आपण किती केलेली आहे, log a, right? Therefore here you have got the formula, that is the ddx of a to the power x, it is equal to a to the power x log a, right? And the last here, that is e to the power x. Here e to the power x, here also e to the power, here again e to the power x plus h, e to the power x, e to the power x, e to the power h, e to the power x, right? Again e to the power x, e to the power h, and here again e to the power x, and this is log e, and the log e, it is nothing but 1, therefore e to the power x. Therefore here again you have got the derivative of e to the power x, it is always equal to e to the power x. So here I have finished all the formulas of a derivative, that is algebraic, trigonometric, logarithmic, as well as the exponential. Therefore here again see the first algebraic, ddx of x to the power n, n into x to the power n minus 1. Second, ddx of x 1, ddx of k 0, ddx of root x 1 upon 2 root x, ddx of 1 upon x to the power n minus n divided by x to the power n plus 1. These are the 5 algebraic formulas. Now 6 trigonometric, ddx of sin x, that is equal to cos x, ddx of cos x minus sin x, ddx of derivative tan x, sec square x. Ninth, ddx of sec x into tan x, ddx of cosec x minus cosec x into cot x, ddx of cot x minus cosec square x, right? Now these are the 6 trigonometric. Again 12 logarithmic, ddx of log of x, it is equal to 1 by x, ddx of log of x to the base a, here again 1 upon x log a, आणि 2 exponential ddx of a to the power x, that is a to the power x log a, आणि ddx of e to the power x, it is equal to e to the power x. And these are the 15 very very important formulas. You should by heart this, you should know every time. केव्हाही विचारलं तरी हे फॉर्म्युले आलेच पाहिजे. And the next year, that is, we have to study the operations on these formulas. We have to study the derivative of a, if the two functions are added, how will you find out the derivative? If the two functions are multiplied, how will you find out the derivative? And if the two functions are get divided to each other or in the quotient form, then how will you find out the derivative? Before that, you have to study this, you have to by heart these 15 formulas. So, the student, if you like my video, then subscribe my video and also give me the suggestion also. If any suggestions are there, you can give.